Self-care. A Catalyst bookstore and stationery supplies is a unique A Catalyst bookstore and stationery supplies is a unique and powerfully functioning resource center. We offer educational materials and resources for strong family life. We encourage our families to not only learn together, but play together. The Catalyst strongly believes in community development, and so we interface with schools and institutions promoting mental, social, and spiritual health. The Catalyst bookstore and stationery supplies. Shop number 44, Ocean Village Shopping Center, Ocho Rios. Telephone 876-974-3710 or WhatsApp 876-293-1150. The Catalyst, a resource center with family at heart. Are you looking for an online school option that offers live video interaction between students and the teacher? Are you looking for a safe environment to help build character in your child? Then contact us at Northgate High School. We engage a values-based approach to education while delivering academic and life skills training. Parents of homeschooled children and those with children who are temporarily without a school option for this term, contact us. We may just be the answer you're looking for. Call us 876-506-2785 or email us northgatehigh2012, that is northgatehigh2012@gmail.com. Northgate High School. Impact through education.
Good evening, sir.
So,
I'm just testing the audio.
it's your camera, Virgil, and you can go ahead and start. Yes. We're not hearing you, Virgil, you're muted. And you can go ahead and start. You're still muted, Virgil.
Good evening, everyone. Let me welcome you to the graduating ceremony for the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation Parenting Seminar. We thank you for taking the time out to be with us. And the purpose of the function is to, I'm sorry there. The purpose of the function is to recognize the program that was conducted in conjunction with Retreat Primary and Junior High School, our parenting empowerment event, which had the objective of empowering household, the heads of household, and to recognize parents who have been attending at least 3 of our seminars and who have demonstrated their commitment to good parenting. We will begin by inviting Mrs. Sorry, here, my apologies here. Let me just get my, Mrs. Haldane to, firstly, let me do the protocol. Mr. Chairman, other members of the team, the Northgate Youth and Family Development team, the principal of Retreat All Age, Retreat All Age and Junior High, Mrs. Aldane, other members of the school board, and parents who are present. A warm welcome. I must extend an apology from our Costas, who will join us a little later. Costas Honorable Earl Johnson will be with us a little later. We will commence right away with the musical interlude that you just have. We just had your sponsors being identified, and we will now begin with an overview of the empowerment program, which will be done by Ms. Claudine Sidial. Ms. Sidial?
I think we have the national anthem first, Mr. James.
I thought we were going to close with it, but we will start with the national anthem.
Eternal Father, bless our land, guide us with thy mighty hand, keep us free from evil powers, be our light.
Richard, you're muted.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all. And I'd like to introduce to you our chairman, the visionary behind all of this, Mr. Wesley Boynes, chairman of Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation, and as well as a senior elder for the Philadelphia Life Center, a former president of the Jamaica Independent School Association, an outstanding member of the Justice of the Peace Association of St. Mary, and one who believes passionately in our children and in the parenting of our children. He has been the driving force between these and other outreach programs that involve parenting. And Philadelphia Life Center is actually the center, parenting center. That's how seriously and passionately our chairman takes the matter of children and parenting. At this point in time, I'd like to invite Ms. Claudine Sidial to give us an update on the project.
Thank you, Chairman James. Good afternoon, one and all. It is such a pleasure being here this afternoon at the culmination of this eighth series seminar series that was convened by the Retreat Primary and Junior High, along with the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation and the Northgate Parent Empowerment Place. Now, the primary focus of the Northgate Parent Empowerment Place is repositioning powerful values-based parenting as a starting place for nation building. And so it was on this premise that this series, Chairman Boynes, along with Mrs. Jacinth Haldane and Mrs. Patinja Miller of Retreat Primary, decided to have a parenting seminar series. Now, this series started last year, November 2019. At that time, everything was supposed to be on the ground. And so it started at the retreat. So the first 3 seminars were held on ground at the retreat location at the school. So the first was in November, the second was in January 2020, and the third would have been in February, and then COVID came. And so initially we said, okay, well, that's it. But then Chairman Boynes, being the visionary that he is, decided, let us do it online, and then we can even spread this out even more and invite more persons and not just the parents at retreat. And so that's what happened. So in April, on April 8th, we had our first online session. So this would now be the 4th in the series. And on that day, our topic was the power of communication between parent and child. And that format was set up. We had a panel discussion. We had parents who were on ground, and then we had parents who were panelists who were online, and we had a health corner. We instituted a health corner where we had our resident doctor, Dr. Marcia Johnson Campbell, who, because of the whole COVID issue, we figured that it would definitely be an asset to have a doctor in the house every week. And so that's what happened. So that first session was the power of communication between parent and child. Then we went on to discuss in the next session, overcoming the COVID challenge. Then we discussed in another session, the power of communication between parent and child. Then we went on to discuss the making of a father and the parental challenges of technology online. And we had our technical person, Mr. Neil Rule of ThinkWeb, who came in and he broke down the whole thing of the technological aspect of it. The response to this seminar series was overwhelming. we not only linked it through Zoom, but we extended it to YouTube. We extended it to YouTube. If you go on the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation's YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch the whole seminar series. You can go back and you can watch it just as if you were there. So you will not have missed out anything. And that's the power of technology. That's the power of thinking on your feet. So I really want to acknowledge the chairman again for doing this. Our sponsors for the series were the Catalyst Bookshop, the Northgate High School, the Philadelphia Life Center, and we also had the DMAC Experience out of New York sponsoring us. And so we want to thank those sponsors. Our panelists also were drawn from a wide cross section inside and outside of Jamaica. And as we had persons, we had one father, a father of four, who is in the U.S. Army, and he spoke to us how he managed this COVID, being at home but still having to work and so on. So this series actually was a timely series. We continued. The parents were ecstatic and happy, and now today we are at the culmination where parents, at least the parents who attended maybe at least 3 of the sessions, because unfortunately most parents couldn't attend all, but there are some parents who attended 3, some parents attended more, and so these persons will be acknowledged and recognized today for their dedication. So we just want to thank you all again for being here this afternoon. You will hear more about the seminar series when our chairman comes and he gives his presentation again, and we will tell you what our next move is going to be. So thank you, Chairman Burchell. Thank you all. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sidial, for that very informative overview. At this point in time, I'm going to, and you know, it's really great the way we transitioned with the COVID pandemic. It didn't stop us. We went right through and delivered a very informative program. At this point, we're going to have from one of the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation volunteers, Mr. Sheldon Brown. We're going to have an item from him. A special item.
Check. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Wave your hand if you can hear me. Great. Well, congratulations to all those who ran the journey, who have made it to here. It's wonderful, it's great. We are not able to meet physically, so we just connect like this. And you know, we are resilient people, we are strong people, we are God's people, and we have to give God thanks for everything. So this song, Ms. Sidia just spoke about us going through and walking through COVID. You know, we will walk through this with the help of God. And we may walk through other stuff with the help of God. But guess what? We are strong people. All right, that's what we are. And that's who we are, the people. We are resilient. We are strong. And as parents, that's what we are. All right? This is Jamaica. I'm more than sea, son, and we are more than sun. We, the people of Jamaica, we're very strong. I hear me? Hey, strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this. We Jamaican, strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this because the world's economy is in trouble and them don't know what to do. Things are falling apart all around and the governments don't got a clue. Take a look up on the first world nations. Yeah, man, enough of them have face banga wrong. The economic crisis bring them to them knees. Some barely and make it along, but it's not the first world alone. It is a global cyclone. It broke out like sore and get the bad over there, and we just feel the effects at home. Jamaicans, me say despite the odds, we are do the best part with jobs. Other people, we are going to do a thing we are prosper in the famine. We Jamaicans, strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this. We Jamaican, strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this because I see rusting people listen to me. When we look at the state of the economy, check local and check globally. People are lose job and them not got a penny. Jamaican people full of industry. No matter how things rough, we find a way to make it. Turn we and make fashion and man we belly. We tough it out despite the adversity. We're a strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this. We Jamaica, strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this because as a country, this is what we need to know. We have to make sure the economy grow. We must cut costs and put things in place. See where we can and try reduce waste. Produce and be less dependent. The aim is for us to be self-sufficient. Know we business, know the out and the ins. In other words, mean we have to point up at things. As a people, we are well committed. We are going to fit up, we not going to play like we dead. You can't count on us, we are all on board. Every man have to bring to them share of the load. We are strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this. We have the honor say strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. We have the honor. If you're strong and you're Jamaican, say strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this. One more time we sing. Strong people with a purpose. It take more than this to break us. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Strong people with a purpose. And that is also descriptive of Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation, a group of volunteers with a purpose. And in these times, we have to be strong. We thank you very much for the entertainment. And we will now invite Mrs. Pottinger Miller, who has had the challenge of being the counselor for the school and is intimately involved with our students. We now invite her to address us. Mrs.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? It's a very, very happy occasion for me this afternoon to see. It's like we planted a seed and to see it grow, see it at the different stages. At some point, we had a little drought, which came in the form of COVID-19. But then God is so good to us. He sent rain. He sent the rain, and the rain is in the form of online. We had Zoom, we had YouTube Live to bless our parents and to continue this program. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very happy to know that we are having parents who will be graduating from this session today. And also we have parents who have learned so much. And not only parents, you have persons who came on who were not even parents and they have been enjoying this session. So my name is Janine Pottinger Miller. I'm the guidance counselor of Retreat Primary and Junior High Schools. And I am glad to be a part of this. You know, we saw it fit to have this program having challenges, parental challenges. That was one of our main issues that we were having, especially when I was doing the guidance program and we did our survey. So that was one of our biggest challenge. We had parental support and other parental issues. So this came at the best time. And why I say the best time, it's because we're also going through this pandemic where we are having, you know, different challenges by the parents. So, and not only parents, also teachers. So we get to learn and to share. And Pastor Boyens did have been doing an excellent job. I wish I could hear the round of applause coming from everybody, because we all know and how we started out. We started out live, and we started out live, and parents were sharing. They were emotional and sharing their backgrounds. And those sessions that we had in person, they were wonderful. And the beauty of it continued when we went online, having all the parents, and we have parents asking from summer saying that, guess what? When is the session resuming? So today we're having our faithful parents and other parents who are just joining. I have invited some other schools. I'm hoping that they're here. I just want to give you a little wave welcome. If you are here, I invited a couple of schools and some other persons or parents outside of the school fraternity. And we just want to say thank you on behalf of the Retreat Primary and Junior High School. Thank you, Pastor Boynes and the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation team, for taking up this mantle, for sharing with us. When we opened, we had the Costa sharing with us, and I'm so happy that he's here to see the blooming of this program. And we are in for a treat, and it does not stop here. Parenting does not stop here. The motivation does not stop here. And I know that Pastor Boynes will be sharing information for persons who need further help and further motivation, further upliftment. So he'll be sharing that with you also from time to time. So we're very glad, and I must welcome all the parents who have joined on this platform today. And we're looking forward to have a wonderful day. Just give yourselves a big pat on the shoulder for being here, for being a part of this wonderful program. So we are hoping that today will be a blessing, not only to me and to the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation and the staff of Retreat. It will be a blessing to all who have joined in today to share with us. So have a wonderful day, and thanks for making it Retreat Primary and Junior High School.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Pottinger Miller, for expressing both the gratitude and the impact, the gratitude for the program and the impact that it has had on your student and parents. We will now hear from one of the parents. It's the proof of the pudding is really in the results, and the parents are the best person to tell you about the impact it has had on them and on their children. So we'll now invite Miss Kerry Reynolds to give us her views on the program. Miss Reynolds?
Good afternoon, everyone. Right,
Good afternoon and welcome.
Here. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here again. Yes, wonderful program. Really appreciate Pastor Boynes for, his good work. Also, Retreat Primary. I had fallen in love with that school also when I just went there on a program through the NYFDF. And so it was a great pleasure that my children were able to attend there. And so throughout the program that I've started, I started on the second program, and it was really great. I took away an exercise that Wesley Boynes did at the time about how well do we know how well our children know us. And so that time, the exercise, it was really a wonderful time there, going through and laughing. My son, Damari, Hannah, and out of it, I think it was one of it, I don't remember which one though, but everything else was, both of us had the same grade for each of the questions. And so that was really wonderful. And he did enjoy that day. So I took away that. And another thing also that I don't remember the different sessions, so I will just explain the different things that had impact me. And so another sessions where he spoke about the power of how you communicate with your children. And so we have to know our children. And by stopping and listening to them, been giving them our full attention, because it's not just hearing and not looking to see the based on the child action, the action of the child. And so that you can pick up whatever. It's just like coming home. Give an example, you know, coming home. How are you today, Damari? I'm fine. But because you weren't paying attention, you did not see the body language of the child. So you don't know if that child really responded to say he was really okay, but he responded that he's fine. And so paying attention to your child, sit and listen to them, stop whatever, you can't be too busy. And so these different things had helped me along the way, and ensuring that I pay more attention to my child and the relationship between parents and children, and not just both parents, but for me as a single parent, ensuring that even though there may not be a father directly in his life, but also their person. I think in another session he spoke about the power of community, where you don't just have, you don't stand alone on your own, but you're having other persons inside of your life to empower. And so I think it was the male empowerment session that he did. And so you have other males to comes in and help to build your children, so you're not standing alone on your own. And a lot of different things that came out in that session where persons share their lives, and it was practical lives. And so that had impacted me, the different things that they would do, the different things, the different challenge that they had. And so I have learned from that, you know, and knowing that you don't just be on your own, but there are other persons that you can interact and you can pull with, and your children can learn from these different strong males. So good relationship. Also, the scripture I took away from that I carried in my heart is the scripture that he shared. I don't remember exactly where it comes from, but the scripture that spoke about the hireling and the shepherd. Who are you? And so when he explained that, you know, that has resonated in my spirit. Who am I in this? Am I a hireling or a shepherd? So ensuring that I am a shepherd to my children, but not just to my children, but other children around us. And so ensuring that, you know, I be that example, always ensuring that I'm there for my children, always ensuring that I sit and listen to them, listen to their concerns, and so that our children don't just lost along the way, but we as parents grow together with our children. So that's it for me so far.
Wonderful, wonderful testimonial. And it's good to hear the parent speaking of the program. And I'm sure that our chairman is encouraged to continue the program, not only here, but elsewhere. Thank you very much, Ms. Reynolds. At this time, we will hear again from Mr. Brown, one of our volunteers, the NYFDF volunteers. Mr. Brown?
Okay, good afternoon again. Well, you know, everybody have a favorite song. And I think this is probably one of my favorite songs because of the message behind the song. And it's quite fitting as parents would have done this program, and for those who have put the program together. We're all nation builders. So just wave your hand like this. Sorry, I can't say all of you. Just wave your hand like this if you know you're a nation builder. And I want you to listen to the words of this song, because we are all nation builders. All teachers are nation builders. All parents are nation builders. We are all nation builders. And that's what we're about to do now. We're going to sing about ourselves because we are nation builders. Agree? Clap yourself if you're a nation builder, man. Clap yourself. Clap yourself. Hey, yo. We are going to a nation builder. We are going to know you're a nation builder. Hey. Everybody, we have a part to play. We really have a part to play. We have a part to play. Really have a part to play. Hear the song. That's right.
To yourself and all in your community.
Come on. Be a nation builder. It will impact.
And even those
the children, you know, and those have to come. Come on. Be a nation builder. Responsibility. For the bitterness.
You feel and see.
Come on. Be a nation builder. And
Come along with
come
me.
along, come along.
Create the Jamaica
Jamaica, I want to say.
see.
That's how we choose to be. Watch out. Every Jamaican must take responsibility to make a solid contribution to build the country. Make a change. First it have to start with we, then the family, the community, the whole country. Then make we partaking of the prosperity. Go on it up. Eradicate poverty, have vision, morality and integrity. And this will be clear with no apology. So hey man, protect the woman and the children around from those who wanna put them down. Woman, you are the rib, not a leg, not a tie. Meal from the colonel's fry. Children, children, you know smart. You know the right from the wrong. Choose a path. Yes, you can choose the right. From all negativity, you better walk wide.
The way you choose to
That's
be.
right. Wave them, wave them. Come on. Your nation builder, just wave them. Be a nation. Hey, hey. Will impact on those who see.
Even those who are yet
The unborn, the unborn. Come on. Be a nation builder.
responsibility.
We have to take it, we have to take it.
React to the bitterness you feel and see.
Come on, be a nation builder and come along with me and create the Jamaica that you want to see. One more time. Every Jamaican must take responsibility to make a solid contribution to build the country. Make a change. First it have to start with we, then the family, community, the whole country. Then make a part taking up the prosperity. Go burn it up. Eradicate poverty, have vision, morality and integrity. And this will be clear with no apology. So hey man, protect the woman and the children around from those who wanna put them down. Woman, you are the rib, not a leg, not a tie. Meal it from the colonel's fry. Children, children, you know smart. You know the right from the wrong. Choose a path. Yes, you can choose the right. From all negativity, you better walk wide.
The way you choose to
Hey,
be.
hey,
To
so,
yourself
hey,
and
hey.
all in your community.
Everybody, let me say, be a nation builder.
Impact on those you see.
It a go impact, it a go impact.
Those who are yet to be.
Come on, be a nation builder.
Responsibility.
Take it,
Don't just react
take it,
to the
take
bitterness
it.
you feel and see.
Come on, be a nation builder and come along with
With me.
Hey,
Create
hey,
the Jamaica.
hey, if you can get up, get up, if you can get up. And this, if you can get up, then get up and do this. Because you want nation builder. Jump around the build up Jamaica. The good mother, responsible father. The employer and the hard worker. Big up the nurse, dentist and the doctor. Lawyer, judge, policeman and soldier. Big up the fisherman, tradesman and farmer. Banker, driver, fireman and banker. Big up the athletes and entertainer. The politician and those in media. Big up the dentist and doctor. The pastor, the developer and nation builder. Our nation builder, just wait there one more time and clap yourself and thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown, the energetic Mr. Sheldon Brown. And you must wave your hand because you're a nation builder too. We thank you very much. It's you for reminding us that we are really nation builders, and as teachers, parents, we're building our children to be productive members of society. And it also reinforces the importance of the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation's programs. At this time, I would like to recognize a couple of persons who have given outstanding support to NYFDF. Mr. and Mrs. Basil Pennant, I know they have joined us. They are always with us. Mrs. Pennant conducts several seminars for NYFDF, and we're happy to have you with us. We will now go to the main item, an address by our chairman. Our chairman is a person who is well known in the community, but whose work is so extensive that it requires a little reminder to some of us what he has done. He has served outstandingly as the chairman of the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation, which is a not-for-profit organization which was started primarily to provide career guidance, development programs, and outreach to the communities. And many such outreaches have been implemented over the years. He is an energetic young man whose commitment is unwavering, his commitment to personal development, the development of the family, and in education. He has been the outstanding chairman of Jamaica Independent School Association. And he continues, although he has served 4 years, he continues to give outstanding service. He now chairs, he's a liaison of the Jamaica Independent School Association, parent and guardian liaison for that organization. And he spearheaded many things. He signed, he oversaw, negotiated and saw to the signing of a MOU between GISA and the Congress WBN, which is Northgate Family Youth and Family Development Foundation is a part of the Congress WBN family, and it ensures the development of value-based education programs. And that's something he's very passionate about, and this has been going since 2013 and only gets better. He has spearheaded a number of other initiatives, especially male empowerment programs. He has done it at schools such as Genesis Academy in Kingston. He has launched program for the breakfast feeding program at the Exchange All Age School, which is not far from Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation's operational base. And he has done many things to train parents and develop parents into mentors and caregivers to their children. Everything done to ensure the wholesome, the holistic development of our children and the relationship between children and parents. So it's my pleasure, my distinct pleasure to welcome Reverend Wesley Boyne, Chairman of Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation and Chairman of Northgate High School, to address us at this point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Justice Burchell James, Justice of the Peace in St. Mary. Thank you for chairing our program this evening.
It's a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Mr. James also a volunteer with the foundation, so I should underline that. I also want to recognize the Custos, Errol Johnson. I don't know if he's on as yet. I know he should join us this evening, but just in case he's on and I'm not seeing him. Principal Harlene. Okay, thank you for having us. I think we will hear from you later on before this program is ended. And thank you for having us again. This was the first school our foundation interacted with many, many years ago when I just came to Otrius. Okay, and I think Principal Allen had just come, so we were two newbies. And we have had a good relationship ever since. Okay, and so we were able to work with a few generations of students here at this school. Counselor, guidance counselor for the school, Mrs. Pottinger Miller. We have been working with her for many years now. And every time she calls, we try to respond. Thank you very much. Ms. Claudine Sidiel, long-time volunteer with the school, with the foundation. Mr. Shellen Brown performer, one of our prominent volunteers as well. Parents, okay, teachers, and other volunteers of the foundation, and of course our precious students who may be listening as well. Good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here to participate in this close-off session of the process which was taking place over the last few months. And I want to make a presentation which sort of recap some of the points which we were making in some of the sessions. As Mrs. Pottinger Miller said, we started last November with the physical sessions. I think we got in about three or four physical sessions, okay, and which went very well, and high participation and deep participation as well. Okay, we had people getting emotional and crying and all sort of really transparent sharing what was taking place. But then COVID came and changed plans, but thank God for technology. We were able to go online, but it was a really excellent. I think it was October 2019 was the first session in this process. October 2019. And that went very well. We did it in October, November. I can't remember if we did any in December, but we started back in January, February, and then things changed in March. We started online in April. So I really want to thank the principal and Mrs. Pottinger Miller for facilitating and allowing us to interact with the parent body, and a very involved and lively parent body, which I wish I could take everywhere I go to do a seminar. Okay, very good experience. So let me just share my screen and just highlight some of the points which we made, and then at the end we just want to highlight some of the regular parents who really were excellent in attending as often as possible. So I just want to remind us of the purpose of the family unit. And we looked at these points over the last few months, and I'm just highlighting them. This is a sort of review of some of the main points which we did over the last few months. The family unit is the main context for the promotion and sharing of love and acceptance, culture. Okay, the first place you should be loved and accepted is in the context of your family. And we want to remind parents, your children are not perfect. And in the midst of correcting them, you want them to understand that you love them and you accept them and you celebrate their uniqueness, because they may not be like the neighbor's child next door, and you don't want to pressure them to be like somebody else. God created them to be their own. Each child is different. Two of my children they are twins. Okay, they were born on the same day, but not at the same time. They were born 12 minutes apart. They do things differently. Okay, and they walked at different times, talked at different times. They stopped sucking finger at different times. Okay, and so we never pressure them to be the same. And we got a third child, and they're all three very different individuals. And we have to just deal with their different personalities because God made them like that. And I want to encourage parents not to have a one-size fits all approach in dealing with your children if you got more than one child. Okay, you have to send that message to each child that you appreciate their uniqueness, you appreciate their difference. The family is the context for building culture. Okay, and we want our children to be cultured. This is not the job of the teacher. This is the job of parents. And in this modern times, a lot of parents, you know, have sent that mentoring, culturing aspect to the school. And that's why a lot of parents are frustrated, because a lot of them now have to deal with that aspect of parenting, which they had exported to school. Okay, and teachers had to deal with it. Now it's back home because of COVID-19. And the challenges you're having with your children, it was your duty and your responsibility all along to make sure that your child is developed in a certain way. This is very, very important, and I want all of our parents and guardians to understand this and to make sure that you do not neglect the duty of bringing up your children in a certain way. Values and standards are supposed to be passed on at home. Okay, very, very important. Values and standards. Okay, what do you stand for as a parent? Okay, what are your core values? What are your principles? We spoke a lot about this over the last few months. Okay, would you like your children to be like you? These are very, very important issues which we want our parents to understand. Identity and confidence. And we have discovered that once parents show confidence in their children, okay, at home, once that daddy and that mommy has a certain amount of confidence in the ability of that child is able to do a whole lot of things. And we want to remind parents of that as well. Spiritual development. Again, this is something parents export, and they say, well, when they go to church, they will develop spiritually. Okay, but I want to remind all parents and guardians that God created the home before he created the church. When Adam and Eve was in the garden, there was no church down there in the garden. It was just Adam and Eve. Okay, and so the home was the first church. And I want us to remember that and to take that in mind, that the context of your home should be a spiritual environment. Okay, parents, you should teach your children to pray and teach them to interact with their Creator. This is very, very important. The home is where children become truly educated. Okay, truly educated. True education is preparation for life. It's not so much the academic process which occurs at school, but true education prepares people for life. I'm a counselor, and I tell you, I know people who have 2 or 3 or 4 PhDs behind their names, and they're just not ready for life. Sometimes they don't have the integrity, the values. So your degrees and your passes at school qualifies you to get a job. But the character education, the values and standards helps you to keep the job. So qualifying for the job and keeping the job are 2 different requirements. Qualifying for the job, you need to have a passes and degrees or whatever the employer may ask for. But in keeping the job, you need to be an honest person. You need to be somebody with integrity. You need to be a hardworking person. And these are principles and values and concepts which children learn at home. They develop good work ethic at home. And I want to encourage the parents of the purpose of the family unit. Very, very important. I want to touch on family law. 3 family laws. Trying to get this thing from my screen here. Generational impact is the total responsibility of parents. Generational impact. And I want you to read that statement there. Generational impact is a total responsibility of parents. And this was one of the big points which we highlighted in a session earlier this year. And we looked at a scripture in Psalm 78, verse 5. It says, God established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, the children who will be born, that they may arise and declare them to their children, that they may set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. Now, I want you to look at the earlier verses in this reading. It's a very, very important sequence of commands. First, God commanded our fathers. What's the first thing he commanded them? That they should make known to their children his values, his principles, his laws, his precepts. Why? that the generation to come, this is the third generation being mentioned. The generation to come might know them. The children who will be born, that they may arise and do what? Declare them to their children, that they may set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep His commandment. So we see 4 generations being highlighted here. 4 generations being highlighted. Our fathers, their children, the generation to come, and the grandchildren. So the father, child, grandchild, and grandchild. So a parent is
unmute, sir.
Are you all weren't hearing me?
Yeah, you can. Okay, you're okay now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. So we learn here that parents were not responsible just for their children, but we see the grandchildren is mentioned, and we see the great grand. So anytime I deal with a child, I have to ask, and I have to find out, and I have to be aware of the impact, the potential impact that I'm making on my great-grandchildren, even though they are not yet around. So the question is, what am I teaching my son, my 2 daughters right now that will have major impact on my grandchildren? So God wants parents to think generational impact, not just the immediate generation that you call your child or your children. But we see God giving these fathers a command, and He mentions the next 3 generations in one breath, that they should make known to their children that through the generation to come, I know them, the children will be born. Why? That they may arise and declare them to their children. 4 generations. I'm always amazed when I read the scripture of the extent to which the Lord wants parents to think. Okay, we are patriarch. We should have that strong impact on all of those generations to come. And we want to keep that in mind. And each parent should see themselves as a patriarch. And there I have a graphic, and you see the father in the top screen there. Okay, and he passes on something to this young man who grows up to become a father, and he passes on the same issue to his son, who would one day become a father, and he would pass on that package of values, that package of standards, that package of conduct, of thought, of how you behave towards women, how you approach work, how you deal with the challenges of life. You have to pass that on from one child to the next, to the next. One generation to the next, to the next, to the next. 4 generations are mentioned in Psalm 78. And I want all of the parents to think about this, because this is very, very serious. As a parent, you have to ask yourself the question, what am I passing on to my children? Because whatever you pass on to them, you're going to pass on to your grandchildren. And whatever they pass on to their grandchildren, those grandchildren will pass on to your great-grandchildren. And one day you'll have to stand before God and give an account of how you dealt with all of those issues. Very, very important. Okay? And so we have to think about the things of God. And when we talk about the commandments of God, I don't want to just think church stuff. I want to think about how you teach your children to manage relationships. Children are supposed to learn these things at home. How they manage their personal passions. Do they practice self-control? Okay, do they know when it's time to stop playing and it's time to come inside and help their mother in the kitchen or wherever? Okay, nothing is wrong with playing, but they can't play all day long. You have to manage that passion. Okay, children learn self-control at home. You can't eat all the time. You can't eat all. You have to leave some for your brothers and sisters. You have to control the passion to eat. Children learn all of these things at home, and we have to teach them these things. How they manage the environment. Do they keep the place dirty? I mean, you look at every time the workmen come and cut this sidewalk in front of my house. I'm amazed at the amount of garbage on the road there. But the children, they walk past. They walk past the house and they throw garbage all along their lunch box, their juice box, cartoons and so on, the bag from the patty. After they eat the patty, they just throw it on the ground. The grass grows up and cover it, and when the workmen come and cut the grass, the amount of garbage that is there. And where did these children learn these things? At home, they were not taught to be clean. And then you see the drains will be clogged up and the rain comes and the whole town is flooded. And people begin to say, oh, the government is not doing anything. But the drain was flooded, clogged up in the first place by garbage that our children threw in the drain. Okay, we have to teach our children how to keep the place clean. And we begin by teaching them to be clean at home. Okay, once they are clean at home, they'll be clean when they go out. Managing personal resources, how they spend their money and utilize this stuff, their time, and their other types of resources. They learn these things at home. Honoring those in authorities. If your children don't know how to respect you, when they come to school, they will disrespect the teacher. Okay, children learn to practice how to be a good human being at home. All of these issues are important and comes under keeping the commands of God, keeping personal commitments. Your child keep his or her promise. When they say, Mommy, I'm gonna wash the dishes, do they wash the dishes? Or do they go off to sleep and forget about the dishes? I will clean the yard, or I'm gonna help my brother with his homework. I'm going to help my sister. Do they keep those commitments? You have to make sure that they keep these commitments because you are teaching them to be a person of integrity. Very, very important. All of these things are key to making sure that we effect generational impact as a parent. Very, very important. So parents, what will your great-grandchildren be saying about you? What will they, maybe you'll be dead and gone, but what will they be saying about you? What are the standards, principles, and values that will be passed down to them based on the way you are currently managing your children? These are very, very important considerations and questions which every parent should be asking themselves. Let's move on then. I'm sharing three laws with you. The second law, family law, is do not provoke your children. Do not provoke your children. To provoke someone is to get them angry or exasperated or irritated. Do not provoke your children. It's an issue which is mentioned in the Bible. Okay, in Ephesians 6:1, the Bible says, verse 4, and you fathers, and the Bible aimed at the fathers for this one. But mothers, you can take note of it as well. You fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord. Let me read that again. And you fathers, and I know a lot of times we have this meeting, a lot of fathers are missing, so I hope you fathers are out there on YouTube listening. If not, this session is recorded, so you can send the link to their fathers so they can log on and listen. And you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord. I'm going to read this in the next version of the Bible. Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. So there's an issue here which God is concerned about. That's why this is in the Bible. You know, God don't waste words. This is placed in the Bible, and fathers have to pay attention to it. Let me read it from another translation, the Amplified Bible. It said, fathers, Do not provoke your children to anger. Do not exasperate them to the point of resentment with demands that are trivial or unreasonable or humiliating or abusive, nor by showing favoritism or indifference to any of them, but bring them up tenderly with loving kindness in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. So fathers and mothers, do you exasperate or get your children angry to the point of resentment? Do you place demands on them that are trivial? Do you place unreasonable demands on them? And I know sometimes we parents, we put demands on our children because we send them to school and we pay the school fee and we give them food to eat. Okay? I know some parents see their children as a pension. That's abusive. You need to take care of your own pension. That's not your children's responsibility. When they grow up, whatever they do for you must be out of the goodness of their heart. But you cannot put that demand on them. Okay? Do you humiliate them? Do you abuse them? And abuse is not just a physical thing. There can be emotional abuse. You can use abusive words. Do you show favoritism? I know a lot of times in Jamaica, if there's a light-skinned one in the family, he or she with their long hair get better treatment than the dark-skinned one. A lot of stories have come across like that in Jamaica, where the dark-skinned child was treated differently from the light-skinned child. Those are practices that came on from slavery days, and we need to stop it. Where they treated the light-skinned slaves better than the dark-skinned slaves. A lot of those light-skinned slaves were half-white, children born out of the slave master going with the female slave. And we have that practice coming down in our generations in the Caribbean and other Black societies. Okay, and favoritism is shown, and that a lot of light-skinned people walking around spoiled. And while a dark-skinned person went through all sort of things. So I hope that's not happening in any home that's attached to Retreat Primary and Junior High. Okay, that is wrong. The fathers, do we provoke our children? So I'm giving you all a homework, a family assignment. I want you to have a meeting with a child or ward to find out if you embarrass them or make them angry in any way. Sit down with your children. And if you have more than one child, sit down with each of them separately. Not in a bunch. And have a meeting with them. And in that meeting, you keep quiet. You ask them this question. You keep quiet and allow them to answer you. Do you embarrass them or make them angry in any way? Find out from a child what changes you can make in order to become a better parent to them. This is a conference which I want every parent to have with their child. Find out from your child what changes you can make in order to become a better parent to them. This is very good, very important. And the last law is for the children. Last family law, and children, I hope you're listening. Ephesians 6:1. So, children, if you thought you all were getting away, no, this is for you, and I hope parents make sure your children hear me now. Children, and there are two things the Apostle Paul writes to children. Number one, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. And what's the second thing? Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. And what's that promise? That it may be well with you, and secondly, you may live long on the earth. That it may be well with you, and that you may live long on the earth. And I know a lot of young people whose lives are not going how it should be going simply because they did not honor their parents. It's a spiritual principle that nobody should violate. You need to walk in obedience to your parents. You need to honor your father and mother in the way you speak to them, the attitude you show to them, the way you conduct yourself around them. Okay? And the reason why you want to do all of these things is that it may be well with you and that you may live long on the earth. Okay? Very, very important that every single child understand this. Okay? So parents, we have to set up the future of our children. All right? By teaching your children the art and priority of obedience. Because remember, we just read a while ago that when they obey you, it will be well with them and they will live long on the earth. And I'm sure every parent who is listening to me right now, you want your child to be well and you want that child to live long on the earth. Very, very important. So it is important for us parents to set up the future of your children, teach them the art and priority of obedience. When you say bedtime, parents, it's bedtime. If bedtime is 7:30 or 8 or whatever time you have set, that child should not be going to bed half an hour later or 1 hour later. You are not teaching the child to obey. You can't have that child negotiating with you. Why can't I not go to bed at 9 instead? The issue is not so much a bedtime. The issue is that you are teaching your child the art and priority of obedience. Very, very important, and save them. Teach your children how to honor not just you as their parents, but all adults in their lives. It will take them a far way. When a young person learn how to respect adults, okay, it will open doors for them. I am very concerned about the younger generation because they don't know how to show respect. The other day I was out at my gate. A group of older people passed by. And they all said, "Good morning, Mr. Boynes." And I said, "Good morning." Not too far from them, a group of young people came by after. They just look at me up and down and pass by, not a word. And I just look at that big generational gap between the young people and the old people. Somehow the values of the old people did not yet land on the lives of these young teenagers who passed by. Just looked at me up and down and went by, not even hi, good morning, good evening. Let's teach the children how to honor not just you as your parents, but all adults in their lives. Okay? And that way, when you get old, there'll be no stress. I feel sorry for parents who, when their child is 22 years old and 23, they have to be now teaching that child something, which that child should have learned at 8 years or 9 years old or younger. Okay, it's a lot of stress. It's very full of stress when you have to be teaching a grown child important lessons which should have been taught when they were a little girl or little boy. It's difficult to teach old dogs new tricks. Same thing with human beings. Okay? So let's deal with things at the first time, when they were 5 and 4 years old and 6 years old. That's when you deal with these issues. So these are some very important issues which I want to pass on to you parents, and which will be expanded during the last few months. Okay, a lot of these sessions are up on our YouTube channel. You can go up here and listen to them and review, or pass on the link to other parents who were not able to participate in this session. But if you want to change a nation, you have to change the communities. If you want to change a community, you have to change the families. And if you want to change families, you have to change individuals. Starting with the head of the home, the fathers. And I want all of the heads of households, the fathers especially, to understand your role. Be an example to your children. You cannot tell them, do as I say, but not as I do. These children are looking at us. They are observing us. And I want to really encourage all of you all to understand your power as a parent. turn the whole country in a different direction. We are going to be starting back soon with another series of seminars with the parents from Retreat Primary and Junior High. And I hope that you really, the past few months was really impacting and helped to put your life on a different course and consequently the lives of your children. So please remember what we have been talking to you about. And if you need help, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be glad to have a chat with you. Once again, I want to say thank you to the principal and her staff for facilitating and allowing us to interact with the school committee. God bless you all. I'll be praying for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pastor Wesley Boynes, for that passionate presentation. You place on building the family to build the nation. And your 3 laws, I'm sure, have been keenly noted. Laws both for the parents and for the children. At the end, we'll be more appropriately thanking you for that wonderful presentation. And at this time, I would like to recognize in our midst the principal of Retreat All Age and Junior High, Mrs. Haldane, and the Custos Rotolorum of St. Mary, Honorable Errol Johnson, who will address us very shortly. But at this time, I would like to invite Mrs. Haldane to address us. Mrs. Haldane?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. We're not seeing you.
Good afternoon, Principal.
Okay, you may not be able to see me because I'm having a little difficulty with my device, but I'm glad you can hear me.
We're hearing you very well.
Okay, good. Someone once said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This afternoon, I believe we can all say that this has been a beautiful journey and a wonderful partnership with the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation, which is primary school. Sheldon, in his musical presentation, said that we are a strong people with a purpose, and that is so true. What was our initial purpose? Our initial purpose was to empower parents. And this afternoon, we can all say, mission accomplished. Not even COVID-19 could stop us. So when we could not come together face to face, we took it online. As parents and teachers, we have all grown and we have all been empowered. What is so beautiful about these parenting sessions is that they're all Bible-based. And you all know, if we follow the way of the Lord, we cannot go wrong. Now, there are a few things that I really want to take away, and I really hope that others would like to take away some of the things that we were taught by Pastor Boynes. And one very critical one is that God wants parents to think generational impact. If only we could really think about what is it we are passing on, then we would be so careful how we grow our children. We were also told to teach our children to keep their commitments. It is so important now. We have so many uncommitted individuals. And it is said that we should bend the tree when it is young, because we know that if you try to bend an old tree, it is going to break. So it is important what we pass on to our children. As parents, we recognize that we have to ensure that the principles, the standards, and the values are taught so that our children will become good children of society. As was mentioned, for us to change the nation, we have to change the community. For us to change the community, we have to change the family. And for us to change the family, we have to change individuals. So it is my hope that all the parents who participated in these empowerment sessions, all the teachers, that we have all gained something, and we will take whatever we have gained wherever we go. What is also beautiful about this session is that they are online, so we still have access. So if we want a review or if we want to learn something new, we can always go back and find them. I am looking forward to the next seminar, the next session, and I hope that God will continue to bless Pastor Boyne and the Northgate family, that as we work together, we will continue to impact not only our schools, but our nation, Jamaica. Thank you very much. That's been a beautiful partnership, and I hope the partnership will continue.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Haldane, for that wonderful presentation. Your comment about it being generational, whatever we do, you would have experienced that firsthand, because I'm sure you would have children who have passed through your hands who are now parents themselves. And the work you do really impact many generations. And as you said, you have to bend the tree when it's young. You have to instill the values early. And so we really thank you for facilitating the program and for addressing us this evening. Again, thank you.
You're muted, Richard.
My computer is behaving unruly. It needs to go to school. Thank you. I would like to recognize and invite the Custos of St. Mary, a gentleman who is no stranger to the classroom, a man whose life has been one that is instilled with discipline, hard work, and perseverance. I speak of Brigadier Errol Johnson, who has been instrumental in keeping the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force operating at an optimum, instilling values into our young men, a man who has not only done it in Jamaica, but has coordinated things in the Caribbean, and who continue to mold lives. He has served as a principal himself, so he knows what the classroom brings, and his interaction with parents makes him really appreciative of an understanding of the program that has been done. As Custos of the parish, he is the Chief Justice of the Peace, the man to whom all justice of the peace pay allegiance and give support, and who motivates both young and old alike. It is my pleasure to invite Brigadier Errol Johnson to address us at this time. Brigadier.
Thank you very much, Mr. James. I hope you are seeing me and you are hearing me clearly.
Both seen and hearing you, sir.
All right, good. It's really a pleasure for me to be at the closing ceremony of this function. I was there when it started, and I must commend the organizers and the participants for the, the resilience that they had in ensuring that this program continue, a very important program. So I must congratulate Mr. Bowen, Pastor Bowen, and the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation for this idea of empowering families. Because, in today's high-speed world, where everything is moving at a very fast rate, it takes a lot to be a good parent. It's very challenging these days. I was at a function recently, and a gentleman was in front of me sitting down. Well, with all the protocols involved. And I saw him, reading his program. And all he was doing was reading his program, open the program and looking at it. And when I looked closely, this gentleman was using his cell phone while the function was going on. But, because of the distance protocol, anybody who saw him would see him reading his program. And saying this is what parents have to be careful about with their children. They can be using the cell phone for work and study, and they're really working and studying, but it's not in the academic field that is being used. So we have to be very careful how we manage, and as Mr. Bowen referred to, especially how we manage relationship. One of my favorite writers, Khalil Gibran, when he was asked about children, he said that though the children are with you, yet they do not belong to you. In other words, he's summarizing all that Pastor said, in that you have to prepare them for the time when they will no longer be with you. And he continues to say, for life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. And too often as parents, we are quick to say that when we were children, we could not do this, or we were not allowed to do this. And, in other words, we are trying to make them like us. It's very important that you understand that you give them your maximum love, but you have to have control over the thoughts that you impart to them. Because remember, you are preparing them for a different, what you would say, a different life pattern, things that change. When I was young, not very long ago, I had to listen to get the news. I had to listen to Radio Fusion or something like that. And then it was when I was very big, TVJ, not TVJ, what was it? Television, JBC TV came on. And most of it was educational program to include Bonanza. These days, there's all different types of programs. And as we move into the divide, the internet divide that comes in, and when they start introducing the new technology, you'll find that people can stay in Port Antonio watching TVJ. You're in St. Mary watching TVJ, but both of you are watching two different programs. So in bringing up our children, we have to be careful that we don't retard them. But yet, there are certain basic ground rules of life that are very explicit, and they cannot be forgotten. It's like you cannot build a house without a foundation, because the house has to be on a strong foundation. And some of these foundations are respect for elders, as was said, living by the truth and not false information, living by honesty, the removal of ego, the removal of lust. That's why we have to help our children to manage their relationship, the removal of envy, and the removal of greed from our lives. And as parents, we have to understand that these negative, the opposite of these positives, are out there. And we have to not only use our mouth to our children, but our whole action, how we behave, how we treat our spouse. You know, I was watching a movie recently, and this young man, every time his girlfriend speak, him slap her, only to see that this was the same thing he saw his father doing to his mother. So we have to be careful of our actions. And there's a saying that action speaks louder than words, right? So, you know, again, I must congratulate the initiators and the participants. And I hope that by extension, as we move along, that most parents in St. Mary would be able to avail themselves of the information that is at hand. It's very encouraging. I'm not sure of the numbers who participate, but if you multiply that by 5, then, so for example, you had 20 people. Multiply by 5, you have 100. Because each parent has 5 friends, you know, and they can share by example, in discussion, in forums, the information that they have. And if their friends see them doing certain things and they are being successful, they will try to emulate them. So in closing, I just say, remember, the souls of our children are dwelling in our house, but they will dwell in a house of their own tomorrow. Probably we would never be able to visit that tomorrow. So thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Boyne, the initiator. I thank the principal and staff of Retreat All Age who were able to encourage their parents and to accommodate such a very important aspect of parenting. Thank you all. God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Costas. It's always good to hear you, and especially when you speak on the matter of discipline, integrity, and honesty, hard work. We know you exemplifies that in your own life, and as a father, you have brought it to bear on your children. we thank you very much, and it has been a very interesting evening. Our parents, we aren't seeing any except for Miss Reynolds, but we know that the parents who participated really enjoyed what they did. And that makes the work of the foundation and the volunteers really more enthused to go out and work. The fact that it is gratitude is shown in the way in which parents respond and the way in which they impact their family. And as I attempt to now do the vote of thanks, I would like to.
Yeah, Mitchell, before you close, I would like to recognize the parents who participated.
I'm sorry, sir, please. Yes,
yeah,
please.
Yes. Okay. Most of them are on YouTube because we are streaming through YouTube. Okay, so we will not see them on the Zoom platform. They are all on YouTube right now. Okay, so I'd like to just call their names, and hopefully everyone whose name is called, they will be on YouTube, and we will be getting a certificate to you. All right. So we like to recognize Mr. And these are people who attended at least 2 or 3 times during the course of the program. Rohan Harvey, Elizabeth Stewart, Bianca Samuels, Wendy Davis, Dion Dyer, Renice Harvey, Kathleen Martin, Donna James, Nadisha Brown, Monica Thompson, Annette Riley, Vanessa Simmons, Ione Stewart Shaw, Audia Hay, Jacqueline Philpott, Atia Bennett, Kerry Reynolds, Yvonne Clooney, Kerry Ann Hall, Vernette Byfield, Kerry Mendez, Ava Dawn or Avadon Tyrell, not sure if I pronounce the first name correctly, Samantha Watson, Latoya Thomas, Froinia Young, Denise Alexander, Moses Wilmot, Altair Cohoon, Charmaine Gould-Born, Angelique Gray, Clifton Brown, Selma Saunders, Anne-Marie Smith-Richards, Sharon Wright, Yolanda Goigan, Natisha Williams, and Junior Thompson. So these are the parents who are more present than all the other parents. And we just want to recognize them and give them, I guess on YouTube, you can put up some claps, icons, and do whatever. I know I went on YouTube a while ago and I saw those of you on YouTube. So let me recognize you. Thank you all for joining. I'm back over to Mr. J.
Thank you very much, Pastor Wes, for highlighting the parents. You have, I think you named at least 40.
37.
37.
Oh, you were counting?
Yes.
You're counting better than
And so if you were to take the ratio of 5 to 1.
You're muted, Buchel.
Thank you. Sorry about that. You would have certainly impacted over 100 using the 5 to 1 ratio that the Costas alluded to. And so I must commend Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation, the volunteers, the principal and staff of Retreat All Age and Junior High, and our own Costas for participating. And I would also like to recognize the parents, those who are named and those who may have attended only once, and those who may only have heard of it. You know, the information is online and we urge you to review it and learn from it and implement what you can.
We have some first timers listening on YouTube as well.
Okay, so you're getting prospective members for the next seminar. Throughout this evening, what we have heard is the theme that you impact generations. What we are doing is you have to build the family. And it is said, when you teach your son, you're teaching your son's son. And so we're impacting generation. It's also said that we have to prepare the child for the path and not try to prepare the path for the child. And so as parents, we have to remember we are teaching them how to live well and be good citizens, contributing to the development of their nations, being nation builders. And finally, as parents, we are the chief designer of a product that is more advanced than technology, that that is far more advanced than technology and more interesting than the greatest work of art. In fact, in them, we would have created the greatest work of art. We would have instilled in them God's, the values and principles as laid down by our Creator. And so I'd like to thank all those who have contributed to the program generally and today's culmination of that program. And I start with Honorable Costas. We thank you, sir, for both being at the beginning and here at the end, and for charging our parents and volunteers as you did. I'd like to thank Mrs. Aldine, principal of the Retreat All Age and Junior High, and her staff for facilitating the program, for always responding to Northgate's Youth and Family Development Foundation's programs and issues. I'd like to thank the members of Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation for their continued commitment of volunteering to ensure, to develop and to deliver programs of this nature. And to the parents for participating. Without your participation, our efforts would have been wasted. You have inspired us by your response, by the way in which you have dealt with the material, how you have used it to transform yourself and your family and the children for whom you are responsible. We thank our sponsors. Without our sponsors, programs would be difficult to implement. So I'd like to thank the Catalyst Bookstore and all the other sponsors who have contributed to the program. And you, Mr. Chairman of the Northgate Youth and Family Development Foundation, you continue to inspire, you continue to create new ways of impacting lives and for building in young and old the right principles and to impact lives, impact the quality of life in Jamaica. And for that, we thank you. Our entertainer extraordinaire, Sheldon Brown, who continues to engage us by providing good lessons through music. We thank you, sir, for your continued support, both as a volunteer and as you perform this evening. You provided the entertainment, and who knows, we may very well call on you again. And I know you're ready. And so in closing, we'd like to give Almighty God thanks for facilitating this program, seeing us through, and for enabling us to use technology to reach persons despite COVID. And we look forward to everyone's support when the next program is announced, whether it be the parenting program or any other of NYFDF outreach program. We thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pastor Boyne.
Thank you, sir, for supporting as usual.
This was a pleasure, man. I enjoy doing these things. These are the things I enjoy doing. Eh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, because it's a legacy that nobody can erase.
Yes,
When
yes.
you have prepared a nation, they might forget who did it. But
Yes.
the legacy that they carry with them is something that cannot be erased that easily. You
Yes.
build a building, some of them might come and buck it down tomorrow and say, listen, man, we need a better building than this.
Yes, 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 yes.
Thanks very much for what we are doing. And I hope that as we move on, we can expand and, you know, reach out without dilution to others.
Yeah, that's important.
Yes.
Reach out without dilution.
Reach out without dilution, man, because that's one of the problems we have. You know? We expand and we dilute. It's better to save 10 than to try to save 20 and don't save anybody.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry you
So
couldn't
let
see
me
the
wish
other
for you all-
parents.
Tomorrow the Christmas season starts. Let me wish
Yes.
for you all a bright and happy and peace and loving festival season. Right? Remain safe, wash, distance, mask.
Yes.
Thank you, and I will leave.
Thank you very much, Honorable
Thank
Costas.
you very much,
Okay, well,
Costas.
take care of yourself. Eh?
Will do,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thank
much,
you.
Costas.
Yes, and remember to send, and Bertrand, remember to send me the number that I can get you on. Eh?
The other number.
All right.
I will, Costas.
Okay, good. Thanks
Thank
much.
you very much.
Blessings to all.
You too, sir.
Sorry, Costas, sorry you couldn't see the other parents, but they are viewing on YouTube, so we are streaming to YouTube.
Remember, I saw them all at the beginning.
Oh, you saw them all. Okay, okay. So they are listening. There are over 40 of them on YouTube
That's
listening right
great,
now.
great, great.
Thank you very much.
All right. Safe journey. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Pottinger Miller.
Yes.
Yes, Pastor Boynes.
Yes, thank you so much for having us again.
Well, you're most welcome.
Yes,
Anytime,
yes.
all the time. Retreat doors are always open to you.
Yes, yes, yes. It was a great experience and we learned a lot. So we will apply them in the next round.
So we can just prepare for a part 2.
Yes, yes,
Continuation.
for sure.
Yeah. 'Cause we
My
have some
wish
new
is-
parents.
Yes?
We have some new parents that came on in September too.
Okay, yeah, we need to try to catch those parents early, the ones in the lower grades.
Yes.
Take them right through the process. That will yield a lot of impact. Bye, Mrs. Haldane.